Welcome back to TechNet Radio. In today's episode, we have Sanjay Soni and Rajesh Padmanabhan as they discuss how Microsoft IT is delivering data as a service to various Microsoft business and IT user groups. Listen in as they discuss unified, enterprise-level, agile data distribution systems that are possible through SQL Azure and how Microsoft IT has created a world where business users have the power to access all of their data in one central location. Rajesh, the mic is yours.
Hi, thanks for joining us. Today we're going to talk about how Microsoft IT is striving to provide enterprise data as a service to various businesses and IT groups at Microsoft using SQL Azure. Learn about Data Services Layer platform and how we do self-service BI at Microsoft. Everything that you see today is based on Microsoft BI products that are all available for you to use. My name is Rajesh Padmanabhan, and I'm a Senior Program Manager in the BI Engineering Department of Microsoft IT. I lead a team of technical program managers, and I'm accountable for BI architecture, functional design, data models, and data architecture.
Thanks, Rajesh. Hi, I'm Sanjay Soni, and I'm BI Technology Evangelist, and I promote our platforms across enterprise and facilitate their adoption internally, and then showcase our solutions for external customers.
The goal of Microsoft IT BI engineering is to create an enterprise data warehouse that allows agile and more expedient decision-making and promotes one version of the truth within the company. The Enterprise Data Warehouse is an ecosystem of business intelligence platform solution built using standard Microsoft BI products. Platforms exist for various stages of BI, including data acquisition and integration, ETL, taxonomy management, MDM, data distribution, such as reports, portals, scorecards, and dashboards. As part of our EDW solution, we are acquiring and integrating data from various data sources into one central data store, creating data marts and cubes, which enable various forms of data distribution. Even though we have like terabytes of data in EDW, customers still want to be able to integrate the EDW data with their own data sets. The goal is to achieve agile data distribution without IT processes. The business understands the data best, so it's a win-win to enable self-service BI for business power users and drastically reduce the SDLC cycles. This is exactly where SQL Azure and other BI tools are helping us. Sanjay, can you talk more about this?
Absolutely. Basically, Cloud Initiative is part of our CIO commitment this year. And folks, as I've said before, imagine a world where all employees at an enterprise like Microsoft have the ability to just go to one BI portal. And based on their Windows account, they get instant access to all of their BI, reports, scorecards, dashboards for various businesses in one place. That's the world of CBI. We now have 30,000 plus users from 100 plus Microsoft applications. What really made CBI successful actually was that we enabled managed self-service BI by empowering business power users to create reports using tools like Excel, Report Builder, Dashboard Designers, right? So over time, IT built an enterprise data warehouse with lots of clean data from various LOB applications. Customers switched from reports from not so clean data to the clean EDW data.
So as Sanjay mentioned about EDW was ready, but as more data became available, the more the business users wanted to get their hands on it. Even with terabytes of data in EDW, users still wanted to bring in their own data, integrate it with EDW, and create reports on their own using tools like Power Pivot. But the challenge was there was no single catalog of all database at Microsoft, and hence consumers like business end users, power users, developers, or web service users had to go to different places and servers for access. Also, there was no single place to manage and grant permissions to all consumers. Now, the challenge was how could IT enable publishers to expose this data easily without moving it? Basically, the question was, can we implement data as a service?
Yes, we can. So we chose to implement data as a service as a rich abstraction layer, DSL, we call it internally, which seamlessly exposes data from the cloud and from the disparate data sources that people had, the customers had, in a single unified catalog of databases. So let me say one more time, Rajesh. Imagine a world where terabytes of on-premise and cloud data can be exposed in form of a single unified data catalog through one URL at Microsoft. That's the world of DSL. Finally, we have been able to deliver data to the masses at Microsoft using this platform. And DSL essentially is a data distribution platform that provides a single location for users to explore, publish, and consume not only EDW data, but also their own data sets. And the best part I like is the data can be consumed by LOB applications, mobile applications, portals, Power Pivot, and other BI tools and database applications. So think of it as a rich internet application, UI, for exploring, accessing, and registering data for consumption, Silverlight based. So diverse set of services and SQL APIs to consume data for various forms of consumption. So platforms where, it literally is a platform where SQL Azure data packages can also be published and consumed, and the data can be consumed from the cloud or from other data sources. And the story goes, the DSL was being planned almost 2 years ago, and we knew that eventually most of the data will actually end up in the cloud someday, right, in a hybrid or total form.
Absolutely.
So with our experience of hosting BI platforms for years, we knew that we need to scale out with additional infrastructure as users increase, and hence we made DSL cloud ready. So the benefits of using SQL Azure are, it's quick and easy to provision server instances to meet increased scalability, and the model of pay-as-you-go cost model. So with our CBI experience, we knew that as infrastructure needs increase, it's very hard to get space in the data centers. This one gave us a flexibility, low infrastructure maintenance, high availability, and if you think about it, it's all about environmentally friendly and green way of managing business. Let's see a quick demo of DSL to see how this is all related. So Rajesh, as I said before, we talked about this one place where you could go to get all of your data at Microsoft Data as a Service. This is that one place I'm going to show you as a sandbox environment right now. But take a look. When you have any kind of enterprise data warehouse at any company, including Microsoft, some of the data is in acquisition phase. Then slowly you move that data into integration phase, where you integrate various data sources, right? And then after that, some of the data goes to distribution phase, where it's ready to be shipped as a factory concept, if you would, So we have lots of data packages right here, one place for people to go where they could literally see data packages from EDW under distribution phase, lots of it. You can see that right here. Or some of the data is in acquisition phase, and most importantly, some of the other data sets they could bring is external.
So these are external to EDW, you mean?
Yes, external to EDW, which they have their own data sources people can bring. They can publish to the consumers at Microsoft. And some of this data could be coming from cloud, some of this data could be on-premise. The flexibility is right there. So let's take an example of one of those demo CVP Mart. So this is real data, but we have masked it so we can show it externally to external customers. For example, we have version 1, 2, 3. Let's click on this version. So we have this under this database called demo CVP Mart data package in our DSL language. We have various tables, for example, or data groups, if you would. Customer demo fact right here. If you click on it, on the right hand side, what you see is that schema I was talking about, the logical schema that has been published by publishers. So in this demo, I'm showing you the first demo. Basically, I'm a consumer right now. I can go to any data sets that's published as part of DSL. I can find out what is this table about, what's the name, description, all the good information. And also, let's just take an example here. This was the logical information. Also, information is stored here. But then, more importantly, I can consume this data easily. So, for example, right here under Excel tab, you see sample calls and data. So you could actually take this string, copy from here, and literally go back to your Excel or anywhere you would like to, and then you can consume this, copy and paste inside of Excel, Power Pivot. Let's just do that actually. Let's just copy this right here. I want to show you this. So you just highlight this, copy to clipboard, and yes, that's fine. I can go back to Excel, for example, right there. Here's my Excel 2010, there's Power Pivot. You can launch Power Pivot window, for example, and then you can import data from SQL Server, just like that. You always do that. And let's say here is my database. At the end of the day, this would be the DSL database in this case, but I'm just showing you an example. And let's say this is my small Mars right here. Database. Next. Of course, you can manually select from a list of tables and views, but in this case, I'm going to write a query. And the query could be just the statement. I copied and pasted.
So this data is coming via DSL?
Via DSL.
Wow.
From any kind of data sources we have. Makes it easy for people to consume data without having them to write views or anything like that through DSL. Okay, that was one approach. The next approach would be SQL full pull. This could be SQL developers who need the stored procedure-based approach here. the parameter-based approach, people can copy and paste right here into the SQL Management Studio, and they can consume all this data. This is just one example of a table. Delta pool, of course, to EDW concept. Web services. Web services would be something, for example, mobile BI. We have to do much more, but mobile BI prototype exists right now. And then sample data. This, to me, is very exciting. So companies have EDW. There's terabytes and terabytes of data. How do you get people to see some of the sample data that we have for all the tables and even other data sets? So this is one way where 90,000 plus people could actually go to this URL and they could see what's out there, and they could publish their own data sets and expose to every other people.
I have a question, Sanjay. So when you say sample data, if I have some tables which has got some personal identifiable information or some high business impact information, do you kind of mask it? Can you talk about?
Absolutely, that's an important scenario. The security is of utmost importance. You don't want your data to be browsable by 90,000 employees if it has any HBI, high business impact, or personally identifiable information. So what you can do is you could identify when you publish the data. You can say, okay, this HBI data, PII data, then that column or that the data will not be shown as part of sample data.
Okay.
Very good question. Thank you for that, Rajesh. So this is how people can actually access data that's already published.
So how do I publish my database using DSL?
Okay, so if Rajesh is my data publisher in this scenario for my demo 2 right here now, and he wants to publish one of his own databases, let's say, as part of DSL to the masses at Microsoft, then all he has to do is go to this one URL, wherever, just Microsoft, and he clicks on New. This is a new data package he wants to create. So it's a new request from him, right? So all he has to do is he can click on the type, the SQL database he wants to expose. Let's say he wants to call it something, name, description, business justification. And interestingly enough, as you can see here, this data could be part of acquisition phase from EDW or his own external data. So I think you want to publish cloud data probably in this case?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then let's say external, okay, in this case, and which let's say his external database in the cloud, So he could click on this owner security, publish start date, publish end date, server information. This is where everything starts to happen. He can add right here his server name, the linked server, database name, username, password, all of his physical database information. And then he can publish this.
Oh, so you have the SQL Azure thing there. If I have a database in SQL Azure.
Absolutely. So what you do is you click here. This data package version is sourced from a database hosted in the cloud, SQL Azure. Then you could simply specify SQL Azure database name, username, password, and we can expose the data from the cloud to anybody within Microsoft. And you could do it.
And it coexists along with the same catalog.
Absolutely. The reality is a hybrid approach right now. So you can come with this data, some data is in the cloud, some data is not in the cloud. You can have a hybrid version of that. Okay. So once let's say Rajesh submits this information, what DSL does, it goes back to the physical database, reads the schema out of it, and then the schema is now with DSL UI. So what Rajesh could do is click on My Requests right here, edit his request, and guess what? DSL has already read the metadata, the schema from physical database. He could go to schema and modify logical name, logical information.
So this is more user-friendly.
Yes.
Name for the tables and columns.
Because, the fact is the physical data names could be like CDF, CDEMOF, fact. But your physical name, logical name could be more clear, info. Customer demo fact info. This could be a logical name which you expose to the masses at Microsoft, for example. And you can do that at the column level as well as the table level. Right here, you can do all this good stuff. Table joins, you could combine multiple tables with simple SQL statements, custom data groups, and voila. You can expose this whole info. Once you submit this information or modify this, the request goes to this BI engineering DSL team. And we work with the appropriate data owners to give you permission. So once you have this data package published here, then you are good to go.
I have a question. You showed the tables can be joined. Is there a feature where I can say which column can be joined or which column cannot be joined? Is there some kind of restriction that DSL?
Absolutely. I mean, you can literally go out to the tables and join these various columns that exist in there, and you can just simply, of course, there's some legwork has to happen to which columns, obviously, but you can do that. And so after that, once you submit this request, a DSL team approves it, you can actually specify more. There are 10,000 plus people, for example, in a security group who want to consume this at Microsoft. They can consume this data. And his package could exist just like this, right here, under external, IT store, for example, right here. Or, you know what, I want to show you something cool. Cloud application. So DSL as an application is also deployed in the cloud as a cloud application. So it becomes easier for us to deploy this, and also all the benefits I mentioned before of the cloud application.
That's great. Thanks, Sanjay, for the awesome demo. So what is the overall impact of DSL with SQL Azure?
So let me summarize the impact of using DSL with SQL Azure. Basically, if you think about it, we have been able to deliver data to the masses at Microsoft using this platform as a service, literally. So, however, I want to be clear on this. Our SQL Azure implementation is still in initial phase, and we are working on forecasting applications like EBMS, which will store data in SQL Azure. And Enterprise Data Warehouse is not fully in the cloud yet. But we hope that as more and more applications and data from Microsoft IT are moving to cloud, the current challenges that we had, related to the size, security will eventually fade away. It's a journey towards the cloud.
Absolutely, it's a journey towards cloud. Thanks, Sanjay. Here is some additional information for you if you're interested in further reading on this topic. The slides has linked to CBI and other videos.
And again, thank you for joining us today. We hope this information has been useful to you. And if you would like us to demo our Microsoft IT BI solutions to your teams, please contact your Microsoft account team and they can reach out to us. It's all about your potential, our passion. See you next time.
See you next time.